When my wife Rachel inherited her mom's fortune, I figured life was finally about to look up for us. We'd been married almost a decade, scraping by, sacrificing, grinding it out together. Or at least, I thought we were in it together. Rachel and her mom, Linda, had always had a rocky relationship. They'd go months without talking, and when they did, it usually ended in some backhanded comment or cold silence. But when Linda passed away unexpectedly, Rachel was devastated. I did everything I could to support her, handled the funeral arrangements, dealt with the lawyers, even sorted through Linda's stuff while Rachel cried herself to sleep. I was trying to be a good husband. A couple of weeks after the funeral, Rachel got a call from Linda's lawyer. She came home with a folder in her hand and a blank look on her face. I asked her what was going on. She dropped into a chair, opened the folder, and said, "My mom left everything to me. A house in Briarwood, all her savings and investments. Over $650,000. I was stunned. Her mom had always lived modestly. I had no idea she had that kind of money. At first, I thought it was a blessing. Maybe we could finally fix up the kitchen, take that trip to Oregon we talked about, or just stop living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't want to go on a spending spree, but I figured this could be a turning point. But Rachel changed. She started locking her phone. She stayed out late, claimed she was visiting friends or needed alone time to grieve. She got defensive whenever I asked her where she'd been. And then one night, while she was showering, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced over, didn't mean to snoop, but the preview message lit up. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you. Kyle." I stared at the screen like it was a bomb about to go off. Kyle. I knew the name. He worked with her, some guy from accounting she'd mentioned once or twice. I'd met him briefly at her office Christmas party. He'd shaken my hand with that overly confident grip and gave Rachel a look I now recognized all too well. I didn't say anything that night. I needed confirmation. So the next day, I followed her. It was a Wednesday. She told me she had a late meeting. I watched from across the street as she parked downtown and walked straight into a restaurant with Kyle. They sat at the bar, laughing like it was their own little world. Then he leaned in and kissed her. I sat in my truck, heart pounding, watching the woman I'd married share dessert with another man. I didn't know whether to scream or throw up. I drove home and packed a bag. When she came in later that night, I was sitting at the kitchen table. "I know about Kyle," I said. She didn't even flinch. Just sighed and leaned against the counter. "I'm sorry," she said flatly. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "Didn't mean to?" "Rachel, you've been lying to me for weeks. I buried your mother for you, and you were sneaking around with this guy." "I needed something different," she said, not even meeting my eyes. "You don't understand what I've been going through." "No," I said, grabbing my duffel. "I understand exactly. You were done with me the second that money came into play. You just didn't have the guts to admit it." I laughed. Slept in my truck that night. For the next few days, I stayed with my brother on the south side of town, barely speaking. My phone buzzed a few times, Rachel asking if I was okay, then demanding to know when I'd come home and talk things through. And then, finally, she sent a message, "We should make this official. I want a divorce." I almost agreed right there. But something felt off. Too clean. Too quick. Then I remembered the folder from the lawyer. Rachel had tossed it on our desk without really reading through it. That night, I snuck back into the house while she was out. Dug through our safe. Found the folder. And there it was. If my daughter Rachel is married at the time of my passing, she will not receive access to any portion of her inheritance unless and until she is legally divorced. No spouse or third party may claim or access any portion of my estate under any circumstances. My jaw clenched. Linda saw this coming. She never liked me, I always thought it was just a mother being overprotective. But now I realized, she didn't trust Rachel either. She knew Rachel might throw away her marriage the moment money was involved. I met with an attorney the next day. Confirmed it, Linda's clause was airtight. Rachel couldn't touch a dime unless she was single. When I told Rachel I knew, her expression cracked. She tried to backtrack, said Kyle was a mistake, that she'd made a bad decision in a moment of grief. She wanted to start fresh with me. But I was done. She wanted the money more than she wanted me. And I wasn't about to be manipulated again. We got divorced. Rachel finally accessed her inheritance, but she paid the price. Kyle left her a few weeks later, guess he wasn't into long-term. She bought herself a fancy loft in Brookfield, took a solo trip to Georgia, and started posting fake happy selfies on social media. Meanwhile, I moved into a quiet little apartment outside Milwaukee. Took a new job, one that doesn't pay much but gives me peace of mind. I cook my own dinners, play pickup basketball on weekends, and I'm finally learning how to be happy alone. Every so often, Rachel sends me a text. I miss you. I was stupid. I made a mistake. I don't respond. She doesn't miss me. She misses the comfort. The fallback. The man who would have forgiven her one too many times. Linda saw the truth long before I did. And she made sure I wouldn't be left in the dirt when Rachel showed her true colors. Turns out, the inheritance wasn't the blessing I thought it was. But the divorce? That was the real gift. The divorce papers were signed, sealed, and stamped before I fully registered that our marriage was over. 10 years together gone. And yet, I didn't feel angry. Not anymore. I felt hollow at first, sure. But that emptiness quickly turned into something better, clarity. I wasn't the fool anymore. I wasn't the guy Rachel could string along while she played house with me and played games with someone else. I was free, in the cleanest, coldest sense of the word. The first few weeks were quiet. Almost too quiet. No Rachel stomping around the house, no arguments over who forgot to take out the trash or whether we should refinance. Just silence. I found myself doing things I hadn't in years, cooking for one, sleeping in the middle of the bed, watching whatever I damn well pleased on TV. Still, I'd be lying if I said it didn't sting every now and then. One night, about a month after everything was finalized, I got a message from her. A photo, blurry and late at night, of our old cat sleeping on her lap. He misses you, she wrote. Then, a second message, so do I. I stared at it. Thought about replying. But what was there to say? Sorry I wasn't enough for you? Sorry you threw us away for a guy who ghosted you 2 weeks later? I put the phone down. Instead of going back to that pit, I started building something new. I joined a local carpentry co-op. Just simple stuff, refinishing old chairs, building shelves. Turns out, working with your hands does something to clear your head. There's something honest about wood. It doesn't lie. It doesn't cheat. It doesn't smile in your face while slipping someone else their number. By spring, I'd found a rhythm. I walked to work, spent weekends volunteering at a community garden, even started reading again, something Rachel always called a waste of time. I didn't miss her voice in the apartment. I didn't miss her perfume on the sheets. I didn't miss her. Then one Saturday afternoon, I saw her. I was coming out of the hardware store, arms full of lumber, when I spotted Rachel across the parking lot. She was with some guy, younger, overly styled, laughing too hard at something she said. She didn't see me. And I didn't want her to. But what hit me wasn't jealousy. It was something else, pity. Because I could see it on her face, even through the fake smile and polished nails. She was searching. Desperate to fill the space she'd emptied herself. The one her mom tried to warn her about. The one I used to stand in. Later that night, I finally opened the letter Rachel's mom had left me, sealed and tucked away in the folder of legal documents. I hadn't been ready to read it before. To my daughter's husband, always knew Rachel had a charming way of making people believe in her. It's a gift and a curse. If you're reading this, it means things didn't work out. And for that, I'm sorry, for both of you. I never hated you. I just knew my daughter better than she knew herself. I hoped she'd grow up. I hoped she'd love you the way you clearly loved her. But I needed to make sure that if she couldn't, you wouldn't be left with nothing. The money was never about wealth. It was about character. I hope you find peace, and someone who values yours. Linda. I folded the letter back up and slid it into a drawer. I didn't cry. But I did say thank you. Rachel thought the inheritance would buy her happiness. It didn't. It bought her time to realize she'd gambled on love with conditions, and lost. Me? I had nothing but my name, my tools, and a cat I still missed. And somehow, that was more than enough. By the time summer rolled around, I'd settled into a life I actually liked. I picked up steady part-time work at the carpentry co-op, enough to cover bills and keep the fridge full. I started going to the same diner every Sunday, place called Lila's, just down the street. Real coffee, no pretension, and pancakes that tasted like someone's grandmother still worked the griddle. I wasn't looking for anything. Not a relationship. Not drama. Just peace. And for the first time in years, I had it. That's when Rachel came knocking. It was a Wednesday evening, just after I'd gotten home from helping a buddy install new cabinets. I was still in my boots, drinking a cold beer by the window, when I heard a knock. Not a polite one. Not tentative. Just knock knock knock. Like she owned the place. I opened the door, and there she was, same bleached smile, same designer coat, but her eyes looked different. Tired. Thinner. Like the act was starting to wear on her. "Hey," she said, like we'd seen each other last week. "Rachel," I said flatly. "Can I come in?" I didn't answer. Just stepped aside. Bad habit, I guess. She walked in, took in the apartment, bare walls, simple furniture, nothing fancy. The kind of place she used to roll her eyes at when we were still married. I watched her scan everything like she was cataloging what she'd missed. "You've redecorated," she said, trying to joke. I didn't laugh. She sat on the edge of the couch like it might bite her. I wanted to check on you. See how you were doing." "I'm good." That seemed to throw her. She blinked like the script had gotten flipped. She tried again. "I've been thinking about you. About us. I know I messed up. And I'm sorry." "Really?" I leaned against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. "Why now?" Her face dropped a little. She pulled her phone from her bag and showed me a photo, her condo. Empty. Half-packed boxes stacked in the corner. "Kyle broke up with me," she said. "Told me I wasn't what he was looking for long-term. I sold the loft. The money's going fast. I made some stupid decisions." I didn't say anything. She set the phone down like it might help her case. "I've been doing a lot of thinking. About what matters. About who really cared for me. You were always there, and I was blind. And selfish. But I see it now. I swear, I see it." I took a long sip of beer. "Rachel, you cheated. You lied. You left. You didn't just break my heart, you used me like a stepping stone. And when the stepping stone didn't take you where you wanted to go, you stepped back." Tears welled in her eyes. Real or not, I couldn't tell. "I was scared," she said. "When Mom died, when all that money landed in my lap, I panicked. I thought I could finally control my life. But I didn't know what to do with it. And I pushed away the one person who actually gave a damn." "You didn't push me," I said. "You cut me loose and ran." Silence stretched between us. She looked down at her lap like maybe she was finally running out of lines. "I don't want your money," she whispered. "Good. Because it's gone," I replied. "Along with the version of me that would have welcomed you back." She stood slowly, brushing a hand through her hair. "I understand." At the door, she hesitated. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not because I want something. But because I needed you to hear it." I nodded once. I heard it. And then she left. I closed the door. Locked it. Sat back down by the window. Maybe her apology was genuine. Maybe it wasn't. But it didn't matter. I didn't need closure. I already had it. And as the sun set over the rooftops, casting gold across the street outside, I realized something: I didn't just survive Rachel. I outgrew her.